week, and we're going to get back into this arena metaphor that I'm giving you so you can know exactly how to turn all this great work we've been doing into a machine that brings you new people every day, every week, every month who want to buy from you so you can get your cash flowing and get out the way. But first, we got to bring in the Zoom. So let's do that. Happy Sunday, everybody. Everybody clap your hands. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Well, good morning, good evening, what to do? How are you? Who do you? Happy Sunday too. I am the sound of money in your ear, Avant. That's still double O. I'm up and imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion babe, aka the pitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of the OGs. Over here, we're getting off the financial grid. It's day number 88 of this 100-day challenge. And I may be able to use my slides today. I don't know. We're going to see. But I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's going to hopefully bring all this together, this work that we've been doing over the last 100 days. Well, it's almost been 100 days now. Like nobody, first of all, nobody does 100 days. People just, they want to do 2 days and then quit, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, you want to change your entire family tree. You want to do something never done before. Nobody's ever done before. You want to be completely financially independent, get off of their system and come over here and just have money just flowing. But you want it to happen in 2 minutes. I don't understand. I'm confused. So I don't expect everybody to get it. I'm on a mission to help 100 families get off the financial grid, make this shift, build engines, machines, systems, master the skill of communicating with other humans so that you always have a flow of value exchange where you always have more than enough, no matter what's going on out here. I hope they don't play with our, electric grid and the internet and all type of stuff. But y'all know every other country in the world is experiencing gas shortages right now. You know that, right? The UK is like 2 days before they run out of reserves or something crazy like that. And I mean, we're kind of in an okay position. I don't really know. 2 weeks ago, just quietly, Trump authorized them to release about 179 million barrels out of our strategic oil reserve, but it's really not that much. First of all, it takes them forever to actually get it out of there. So I don't know if that's going to stop us, but basically every country, India, South Korea, like it's bad. If you look, people are all in lines and they're already having fuel shortages like now. So the question is, what's going to stop that from happening in the United States? I, I don't know. We could be headed there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he was like, oh, we might be, quietly moving the National Guard into position starting in April. I don't know, child. I don't know. But we have to be ready for everything, including another pandemic, a false flag, if something happens in the US. Like we're living in a time where we just have to be prepared for anything. So that's what I'm here to equip us to do. And my slides are up. Let me see if they'll work for us today. But I wanted to get back into what we were talking about yesterday. The this arena framework, I guess is what I'm saying. And to get you back into the energy, remember that we're talking about how to go from this great concept you have in your head, something you want to do, all that kind of stuff. And then we switch over to building an engine that actually gets us repeatable, consistent results. But first, before we do all that, you have to get in motion. So, it's fun for me when I do this work in the dollhouse. It's fun for me because I just talk. And people are like, oh, they just like to hear me talk. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not here to entertain you. Although I am entertaining, but like, who has time for that? So I talk. And then one day the light bulb comes on and people are like, oh, this is what I was saying. So then they finally get in motion. So they get in motion and they start making the moves that I'm telling them to make and doing the thing, And then they get frustrated. Then they run into themselves, right? Then they start having doubts and like, I'm not sure. I need somebody to help me. And then they quit and they disappear for 3 weeks and they come back, they do all of that. So after a while, they finally get into motion in a way that's like consistent or just they find themselves in that process. And then they finally start doing like the 5-star pitch or whatever, like little things I've been saying the whole time. They finally start doing it, and then it starts working. So they're talking to people and they're getting a good response and they get excited. And I'm like, okay, we got to keep going though. Because like, we're not here for fun times. We're here to make money. Right. So it's like, well, what do I charge? Did you talk to more humans? Did you talk to 50 humans? So they finally do that. Then it's like, people start giving them actual good feedback. They're like, oh my God, somebody wants to work with me. Oh my God. So I got one of those calls today. Mind you, this person has been in the doghouse for like a long time. They're like a OOOG. Okay. But I don't fault anybody because people that came from the place that should not be named, they don't do nothing over there but give us meatballs and alcohol. And now they got wings and entertain us and have block parties and bring DJs. Like nobody has any expectation of anybody doing any actual work over there. So it comes from a culture of just like sit around and wait for somebody to give you a grant check, sit around and watch somebody get a contract and they're out of business in 12 months, but we're not going to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Just sit around and just, ooh, they put me on the radio station. Like it's ridiculous. It's kindergarten for Black entrepreneurs. So anyway, so I can't expect, they were just kind of used to being entertained. So they would hear me talk and oh my God, it's fabulous and this is amazing. They go quote me to everybody and go tell everybody, but they're not actually putting it into practice themselves. I'm talking about the OOOGs. So I get a phone call today. And I answer the phone. I'm like, we don't have no appointment, child. What you calling my phone? She's like, I know, but you won't believe it. I said, what? It worked. I said, what? She finally started using her 5-star pitch, long story short. And so she's finally started being outside virtually, like I've been telling her to do, go into these rooms and into these communities that are talking about what you do. And then when they ask a question, you answer the question, the whole room is going to stop. Like, who are you? Because you don't talk like everybody else. So she's been doing that and it's worked. So somebody asked her to get on their broadcast, whatever. So she's like, what do I do? And I was like, same thing we always do. You start the 5-star pitch, you have your hook, you do your contrast, you talk like you need to talk, like you got somewhere to go, and then give them a very clear, direct action to take. Like, not, I can work with you, like, it's too much. Like, give me one action you want me to take. And people will follow you. She was like, oh, okay, because it works. That's my point. All of this works. So let us be intentional about building this thing because it works. So if I can share this, I will. And here we go. Yes. Okay. So you see here where it says stage. We talked through all of this. I'm not going to review all of it because then that's why it takes me forever. But all of these need to be operating in your business. This is above the line, below the line. This is the unseen, the part that's a merger of the two, and then the seen. Most people start down here in the 3D. They're trying to tell you about sales and different tools you can use and tactics and strategies and business plans and different software for your business and all this kind of stuff. They're down on this bottom layer. That's the harvest part. But you're a farmer. You need to understand the other part. Okay. So think of single-mindedness, structure, and safety like the earth, the sun, the moon, the water, the seasons. Okay. These are the things that make the environment possible for you to create. Think of the stage, the store, and the social network or your community as the activities that you actually do as a farmer. Planting the seed in the ground, watering it, making sure there are no weeds in there, doing pruning or whatever people do, and making sure that everything stays where it needs to be until you get the harvest out on the other side. And then the bottom, that's the harvest. That's what you can see. You got sales, you got to put it in a system some kind of way. And then you have staff or some AI agents that are going to replicate that so it all keeps going. Most people don't have any of these top two layers going in their business and they wonder why they're not making any money. So I want you guys to become masterful at the middle tier specifically. We work really hard on getting your internal state together. Can't go over that today. But let's zoom in on this stage here. Let's see. We did all of that. Do you have singleness of mind? Where are you going? What's your North Star? Do you have some structure? You can't just be spending your time any kind of way. Do you have your nervous system in a state of safety at all times? Have you built a stage, some kind of platform where people can hear from you? Do you have a store, a very specific thing that you're offering? See that target? You can't be all over the place. I do everything for everybody. No, you're not a slave. You're not an indentured servant. This is what I offer. Here's the next step. Do you have a community where people can hang out with you and do all that? Do you have if you do all that, rather, you will have sales and things going. Things are happening where they need to be happening for you. And as you keep going, you'll need systems and, like I said, staff or AI agents or whatever the case may be. So all that's cool. But then after that, this is where we want to get to. This is what we want to get to. Look at all of my graphics that I'm not using at all today. After all that, do you have your offer ladder? Most people have not listened to the word I said. And then they get out here, I think I need to break up my stuff to where I have a free tier. Really? 6 months later, you just had that breakthrough? Wonderful. Wonderful. However it takes y'all to get here. Here we go. So we're zooming in on the stage now. The first thing we need to do is anchor some of this brilliance. Okay, we got to find an anchor point where people can find you because you're meeting them where they are, not where you are. Once we do that, we build this world where the things that we're saying are going to be resonating with people. It's just like constant affirmation against confirmation, affirmation, confirmation. It's resonating. It's like, yes, yes. They get a bunch of yeses. It's a chain reaction. Okay. Then we're going to earn their attention. It's not just one time. That time I met that person one time when I was on a trip and I met somebody in the airport, and wow, we talked for we got a 3-hour layover and we talked for 3 hours straight, and that was amazing. And everything, we had all these things in common, and but then you never see or hear from that person again. No, you have to earn the attention of your audience. You got to keep showing up where they are in the format that continuously earns their attention. Then we are going to do the work to make sure that we give them a story that they can narrate and see themselves in our story. You talk like them, they see themselves in you. It's a constant. It's got to be constant. It's not easy. Nobody does this level of work, okay? And after that, make it easy for them. Give them one single point of activation. One action you want them to take. Now, that by itself is going to make somebody a couple million. But I can't make you do this work. I can't make you do it. I know I can't make you do it, but I'm gonna give it to you. And then you decide. You decide. Okay? You decide. Okay, so let's get into it. Anchor. How do you anchor somebody in what they already believe? Because the problem is, most people, when you start talking, it's just human nature, and the smarter you are, the more this is true. When you start speaking, you start talking about you and what you do, your product. But nobody woke up thinking about you and what you do in your product. They just didn't. They're thinking about what they got going on. So imagine you're in a crowded room, you're walking down a crowded street or whatever, and or maybe you walk into the mall or something like that, and you're there for one thing, and you're like, I gotta go in this one store, get this one thing, and I'm out. What could make you stop in that mall? Very few things. But one thing that would make you stop in that mall is if you see an old friend, somebody that you recognize, and they say, is that you? And you say, oh my God, is that you? And all of a sudden, I had to be gone. This happened to me. I'm standing outside the mall. 2 hours later, we still talking outside the mall. Because I hadn't seen this person since. And we're going on and on and on and on. I thought you had to be gone in 15 minutes. Yeah, well, not anymore. So we stop for things that we recognize. So if you, at the top of your funnel, build it in a way where people stop what they're doing because they recognize, this is what I've been thinking about. This is what I've been struggling with. This is what I've been trying to figure out. That's exactly this. We were just talking about this. Just start everything you do, anchor it there. This is the anchor. Okay? Think of it another way. Think of the last time, maybe as you're working through your new version of your pitch. When's the last time you tried to explain something what you do? Maybe at the part where you're still struggling with that. Might have been talking to a potential client, a referral partner, somebody, anybody. And you just knew they didn't really understand what you were saying. And they were nodding and being polite, but it wasn't really clicking. That happens to almost everybody in the early stages, at least. And that's because it's not because you're not explaining it well. It's not even because you need a better pitch all the time. Okay, we're on the mastery level now. Y'all, we're elevating. Okay, so we done worked on the pitch. I done told you how to do elevated inverted 5-star pitch. I told you all the physics. I told you about the triangle, the pyramid. We did all that. Now I'm teaching you how to master every human interaction. Okay, we don't start with what we want to talk about and what we do. We know why we do what we do. Because remember, I always say start with why. Now I'm taking you a step further. I need you to meet them on their side of the why, not your side of the why. We want to anchor this interaction. Because here's the thing about the way people's brains work. Anybody who makes a purchase does anything, right? We are evaluating, making decisions based on how we feel and what we already believe about the world. So if you selling me barbecue sauce, I know what that is. You selling me socks, I know what that is. You selling me some wellness thing that I don't have a category for, I don't know what that is. You selling me a software to do something that nobody's ever done before in the world, I don't have a category for that. I don't know what that is. You selling me something that most startup founders never had, but now I'm saying every startup founder needs this. I don't have a category for that. I don't know what that is. So now if you come in and start talking about your product and I don't have a category for that, you telling me how to restart my life after the age of 50, 59. That's not a thing. So I don't know what that is. I don't have a category for that. So the more innovative you are with what you do, the more they don't have a space for you in their head. So you got to anchor your work. So that's on one side. On the other side, if you sell something that is like I said, barbecue sauce. Somebody sold me some barbecue sauce the other day. But I had to taste it. Had I not tasted it, of course, I wouldn't have. But it reminded me of what my mom used to make barbecue sauce from scratch. And so all of a sudden, she's in a category by herself. This is the barbecue sauce. I eat sauce with everything. So I'm very picky about sauces. This is the sauce that reminded me of the sauce I used to eat when I was a little girl. I would literally ask for a bowl of barbecue sauce. Like, you don't have to put no meat in there, Mom. I just want some sauce. Can I eat that, please? That's how good it was to me. This reminded me of that. So I had to create a category for her. So the way that she was able to anchor me, what makes yours different from every other barbecue sauce in the world? She had to give me an experience. And that anchored me in something that meant something to me from childhood. So now I'm connected in a way that there's no other barbecue sauce. There's only her. I'm like, how can I find you? Because I'm going to need more of this. I got 3 bottles. I'll be back. You know what I mean? And then, so how do you anchor an interaction with somebody to make them say, okay, I'm stopping everything and I'm locking in with you? If they know what it is, because it's shea butter or something that everybody has, you have to give them a narrative, an experience. Because you see, I had an experience, but I attached my own narrative to it about my mom. You have to give them a narrative and an experience that removes all competition and makes you one of one. If you're doing something that they never heard of before, You have to create a conversation and give them a narrative and an experience so they know what it is. So they'll create a category for you in their mind, and then you'll be one of one. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so at no time do we wake up trying to be different, trying to say something that they don't understand to sound clever and be different. You want to be recognized, just like that person in the busy mall. But when you recognize that person, you stop everything. That's what we have to build into every interaction. Okay, so anchor. That's why we start with anchor. Think about the last time you bought something. Of course, anything you ever pay for. You're always comparing, whether you think you are or not. It's happening. It's subconsciously happening. So the alternative, if they'd never heard of your product category before, the alternative is to do nothing, to keep doing what they've been doing, to keep just kind of struggling and fumbling because they think there is no solution to the problem that you solve, or they don't think that what you offer is the solution to the problem that they're experiencing. Okay, so you can't escape that. They're comparing you to all the other shea butters, or they're comparing you to just keep struggling with this problem. So what you have to do is own that space. So you can't fight with people who don't know that they need a solution, who don't believe that there is a solution, who don't believe there's a way out. That's not who you want to talk to. You want people who are already convicted. I need to do something. I got to do something. I don't know what to do, but I got to do something. And then you come with a solution. That's your audience. Okay? So we meet people exactly where they are. The emotional state they're already in, the vocabulary they're already using. Talk to them about what they're thinking and talking about. And that's where the interaction begins. Is that fair? Everybody tracking with me? So we anchor in what they already believe. And this is the hardest step. That's why I'm spending this much time on it. If you can't answer this question, it's going to be difficult for you to do the rest of the work. Here's the question. What does my buyer already believe is true about their problem and about solutions like mine? What do they already believe before they ever met you, ever heard from you, anything? What do they currently already believe? Do you have an answer? You should have an answer by now. If you don't, that's where we got to start. Because the more vague you are when you start fumbling and reaching, everything else you do after that is going to be too vague. I need it to be so crystal clear. Okay? So think of your most recent client or your ideal client. What did they think their problem was when they first came to you? What had them going down the path they were going down? What were they blaming? What had they already tried? What were they frustrated with? And all of that. Most people come to me thinking the problem is they need access to capital. They need an investor. When the real problem is they don't understand money. They don't understand entrepreneurship or the rules of this game. They're trying to sell a product, and they don't even understand the problem or the people that they're selling it to. You need to be able to tell me that gap. Most people come to me thinking the problem is X when the real problem is Y. And so the gap between whatever they're focused on and the root cause that you know about, that's where you start the conversation. This is crucial. I'm only going to do A today. I'm not going past this. We're going to be on this all week. This is crucial. If you anchor yourself to the wrong belief in their head, you try to start the conversation from a frame of reference that they don't hold, or you start talking about your product before they're even tracking with you on what the problem actually is, you're already behind. You start explaining and getting into technical details and getting deep and abstract before you've made this connection. Remember, connection is the birthplace of all currency. You have to earn their attention. Time, energy, effort, focus, attention. That's the only currency that there is. Y'all see how slow I'm talking today? Because you have to get this. We got to get this. You got to slow down before you can speed up. You know how if you, let's say you're making a turn, or you're about to get off the exit, off the freeway, you going to have to slow down to go around this curve and do the thing. You got to slow down. When you get on the freeway, you got to slow down to the traffic till you can get in traffic, and then you can speed up. I need you to slow down. Okay? To earn their attention. Earn means to get a reward for labor. To do the harvest work, to serve. To reap is really what earn means. So you actually have to get in here and do some work. Find it, meet them where they are. Boom. Okay, right there. Boom. And stay right there until they are ready to follow you to the solution that you have for them. You can't just jump. So this is your job, okay? So your job is not go out here and blast people and do you want to buy something? Do you want to buy something? Put your name out there. No. Your job is to get great at understanding what people believe about the problem that they're experiencing. And they think it's this, but actually it's this. Find that gap. Because that's where the money is. Money's in the gap. Find that gap and then get great at having conversations with people about that. And what you'll find is when you speak to that, nobody else is talking to them about that. So they're automatically going to connect with you. They're going to be like, oh my God, like, yes, like, because they can't have that conversation anywhere else. This is how you build community around your work. This is how it becomes much more than you trying to sell anything. This becomes about a transformation. And they know that you're the only one qualified to take them on this journey because you're the only one talking to them like this, meeting them at this place. It starts to get transcendent. It starts to do something different when you commit to showing up this way. Because you can walk into any room and everybody's down here in the 3D and you stand in the silence. Your presence demands an explanation. They're like, well, who are you? Well, what about you? What do you do? What do you think? And you'll be able to say, I recognize, most people are out here and they're feeling this and they're experiencing this and da 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 da. And they think it's because da 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 da. Everything many of you shared here today. But actually, it's because whole room will go silent. All of them. Because you're not talking like everybody else. Any potential client in that room will start, they will recognize, that's what I've been feeling. That's what I've been thinking. You have just dropped an anchor. So we're no longer floating in the water, just trying to keep ahead of, no, we now have an anchor. We are here now. And people are like, well, wait a minute. And so as you keep talking, words are containers for energy, like light, this information. You start talking, you start emitting this light. You're like, so this is what I do. This is my worldview. This is, this is how I came to this. This is the people that I work with. Help them go for this to this, blah, 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 blah. We're on a mission right now. I'm helping 100 families. By the end of 2026, you're going to be out the way. It's total chaos. It's about to be a collapse. But my people going to be all right. So if you want to know how to do that, you got a business, you're trying to get on the other side of this thing, you need to, go to my website, get on my email list. I got you. The entire room is going to flood you when you finish talking. You can do it in person. You can do it virtually. Why? Because you dropped an anchor. Okay? So 3 things that you could do to make sure you understand what your audience actually believes. Question number 1. See if you can fill this in. And this is your homework if you can't. My buyer currently believes that X is the best or the only way to solve their problem. So I can tell you right now, Black people, visionaries, creatives, and entrepreneurs worldwide are running around looking for an investor, and they are not investable. But they want somebody to write them a check or give them a grant so they can, you know what I'm saying? So they could stabilize. Just need a little breathing room, is what they say. So they can pay little bills, and they don't have no plan, child. What they're gonna do is, if you get them $10,000, they're gonna go pay whatever the most pressing bill is. They probably are gonna go to Juicy Crab and or on a trip. They're going to like get something for their hair, nails, clothes, or fix their car, something. And then the less they spend $2,000-$3,000 maybe on their business. They might get some supplies. They might, whatever. That money gonna be gone. Nothing's gonna change in their business. And they're still not going to do the number one thing, which is go and talk to a human. So my buyers, my clients that I help to get off the financial grid using their business as a vehicle to do that, they currently believe that they need somebody to give them some money. That's the only way to solve their problem of my business isn't working. So that's first blank. Can you fill that in? My buyer currently believes that blank is the only way to solve their problem. Second question. What frustrates your clients the most is that blank, whatever they've been trying, still isn't working. So for me, my people are actually going to these entrepreneurship programs. They're going to the classes. They're going to the conferences. They're spending all this money on vending tables, and they're trying to run ads, and they're doing all these things. They're paying money. They might have been buying classes and stuff from other people, and it's still not working. That's because those people are not qualified to teach you entrepreneurship. I mean, hello, if they're not teaching you the roadmap, I don't care what they're teaching. If it's not going in order of the roadmap be mapping. So whatever they're doing, it's violating universal law. Okay, this is physics. So you fill that in for your clients. What frustrates them the most is that blank. What have they been doing? What have they been trying to solve this problem? Still isn't working. Then number 3, question you want to fill in. Before they found me, they had already tried whatever they've been doing before without getting the result they wanted. That's another way to answer the same thing. It's the second question. So I just did that exercise. What is that for you? Can you answer that? If you don't know, you need to go talk to more people. So let me pause right here. See if y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, challenges, perspective, feedback, personal story time before we go on. And what I want you to notice as you answer these questions, the line about frustration. Okay, the first line is, what do they believe? This is what they believe will solve the problem. The second one is, what frustrates them is what? And then the third one is about what they've tried before. So the frustration, this is what they believe. This is what frustrates them. The frustration is going to be more specific than the belief. And that's what we want. We want to keep going until it becomes so crystal clear, so sharp. Clarity leads to confidence. Confidence breeds connection, and connection is the birthplace of all currency. So the more clarity that you have here, this is the foundation for everything else that we build in our business. I need this clarity. Okay, go for it, Tracy.
Hey, doll. Hey. This is beautiful. Whew. So definitely, I don't have a lot of clarity. I noticed that people don't know what steps to take. And I listen to a lot of different people. And I'm not talking about people I peak. I'm talking about other people that are saying, like, don't give a free class that never converts to business. And then I'm like, I had a free class. But I'm like, no, I think that worked. And then I listen to a lot of things and I get confused. But I like the simplicity of having a free offering and then having a low price and then moving forward. And then I'm in Walmart, excuse me, I'm just leaving the temple. But I also like what you said earlier, which was you keep going along doing your thing and then you run into yourself. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it feels like. You run into yourself. It's not a bully, it's not a problem, not someone that, took the rug under you. It's your own damn self you run into. And sort of like the movie Us. I think that movie Us type of thing. Anyways, one thing that came clear to me is with the schools that I'm peaking and the students that I have, like how they say the mouths of kids, the things the children say the darndest things. Just by that one guy saying, "What can yoga do for me?" I realized that I can create a poster. I have girl, you stress, you need yoga, but I can have something more clear that says, when I hear yoga, I think that, and with a picture attached. Then while students are passing by, they'll answer that question for themselves. When I hear yoga, I think, and I think that's gonna really work. Self check. Yeah. So that's it. So I think that works because it's gonna be something that they can pass by themselves and just answer that question. And I'm looking forward to having more clarity because I notice people look at me like I do that thing that you said yesterday, like, okay, here's everything I have, you choose. And they're looking at me like, well, you seem really zen and you seem very clear-minded when we first met, but now you done confused the hell out of me. And if I didn't like you, I'd probably just walk out because I really don't know what to do. Because first you said you have a path and now you're saying, choose the path that you want. Right. That don't sound supportive, and that doesn't sound like you really know what you're doing or you trust your value. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah. So I want us to start thinking like wealthy CEOs. Wealthy people are here to make sure that we can have the money coming in consistently. I want to get it all the way to the point where it's a system, where every day it should become boring. I wake up, oh no, another 100 sales a day. It happened again, like it should be boring. Like that's why we need bookkeepers so they can go and just track all the money that's going to continue to come in. Okay, so in order to we want that to be repeated. CEOs are not like looking for oh my God, this happened, like yay. Like that's the entrepreneur side. I get excited. Okay, cool. The CEO, that thing better track. I said I was going to make this much money this quarter. It better come back there or higher. I'm looking for my numbers. I'm tracking numbers. The other side of it is relationships and, I talk to these people. They like this thing. They really liked me. Like, yay. We got to get the wealthy part in there. The CEO, the systems. I'm obsessed with sameness. I want this to be the same yesterday that it was today, unless it was better. Okay. And then, so we have to have that, but also think about it like a recording artist. If you wanted a DJ to play your song in the club, you need to pick the club banger. You don't pick the ballad and tell the DJ to play it at the club because it's not going to work. You have to have the specific song and single for that specific use case. So if you talking to me right now. So what action do you want me to take? Guide me, tell me. I just told you what I'm going through. You should be telling me this is the next step. Do this. All right. Not here are 20 things that you can do with me. Have at it. So absolutely making it very, very clear what path you want people to take. So in the early stage, remember, is based on where you are in the journey. Motion, momentum, mastery. So in the early stages of this, you're just getting your reps in. So you're just talking to people. Based on the feedback that they're giving you, you should start to be moving into the momentum and mastery phase. If you talk to enough people, okay, she's talking like this, she's going to need, your brain is calculating. So that by the time you get to the end and they're like excited, You tell them, this is what I recommend for you. Do this. And they sign up and they do it. They're expecting us to get to the place of mastery. So they don't have to think, right? So your early people, they're going to get it all. They're going to get the blah. They're going to get the, I didn't have my pitch together yet. They're going to get all of that. But as we move, it should be very, very smooth for people. I'll go for it, Tracy.
And I today I've been binge listening to all of your episodes. I didn't realize how many I had missed. And I go to a Buddhist temple, but the Buddhist temple is not in English, which is okay for me because I'm vibing off the vibration. So sometimes I listen to your stuff while I'm there.
That's cool.
and I there was so many that I missed, and I just was listening to one of the things that you were saying. I'm trying to remember it now because I'm kind of like caught up in motion. Oh, you were talking about the people that don't have the money to pay for the mastery thing. And then I was listening to a lot of old episodes, but you were talking if this is an issue, that is an issue. And I was like, you know what? Dala is really kind because in actuality, even though you were saying like, yeah, I know if you're saying you did everything you needed to do, but things aren't going well, money is not well. And I said, Dala is actually being kind because she knows if we did everything we needed to do, we would actually have the money. So none of that is true. Mm-hmm. So anybody is saying that they don't have the money to pay you, it's not the truth. It's because they did everything we needed to do. Because when we do even half or a quarter or 10% of what you ask us to do, the money comes in. So you obviously know it's not because we did it. And then another thing, you were talking to someone yesterday when you were saying getting clarity on our voice and what we're doing, and she was like, well, I don't really know I still, I don't know. That's my money. Thank you. Maybe I don't really know. Thank you. Maybe I don't know what my clients are talking about, but I realize even that you're being kind with us, because if we were actually talking to enough people, we would know. And that's the truth. Mm-hmm. And one question I did want to ask you in regards to that is, when I'm speaking to groups of people like schools and students and stuff, is that because it's one place situational? Am I counting that as part of my 50? Or is each location, each like sector of people, would that be considered one? And I wanted to figure that out.
One decision maker counts as one. So in other words, remember, go back to the Destiny Matrix, the North Star. If your school platform is really a different subsegment of your business from just dealing with individuals one-on-one. So you have actually a two-sided business model inside of a school. You probably hadn't thought of it that way, but you are creating something that's going to resonate with the students, like an experience that they get excited about and they love it and they can't wait for it. But then the actual buyers, customer, so the students are the users, your customer will be the decision maker in that school. So whether that's the principal or whoever's permission you have to be in the school. So in terms of the 50, like knowing what to say to get to a sale, 50 conversations with a customer, that would be the decision maker in the school. So it would be 50 schools. But because it's a two-sided model, you want to talk to as many students you want, which is a slightly different product, perhaps, than providing services for teachers, right? So they might have the same decision maker, but it's a different package. I want my teachers to come in and get training, or I want my teachers to have this wellness experience, or whatever. My teachers to have a way to deal with stress, or whatever that is, versus I want to make this a part of something that we're offering to our students. So the answer to your question, the 50 is the decision maker who can write a check, who can pay you money. You need 50 of those.
That makes complete sense. And I'm glad you gave me clarity, because I was feeling myself that I was cheating. But at the same time, I realized, no, this is probably not the way
but you need all that data, right? All the student feedback and all.
Oh, for sure.
You need all that data to be really great when you go and talk to the decision maker. And you know exactly how to show up for the students or the teachers or the parents, for that matter. And then you take all that data, and that's how you get the decision maker and it becomes a no-brainer for them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. These are great questions as always. Anybody else? I'm not gonna hold y'all. It's a Sunday. We got stuff to do. So I'm gonna go plan my week, my elephant diet. I don't play, like I said, about time for everything. If I don't do it, it's because I know I'm not doing it. It's not because it's not on my calendar. And I want you to think about your top 3 priorities. Schedule some time this week to actually do this exercise that I just went through. Like, we're going to audit, what does your potential or ideal client really believe about the problem that you solve? What do they think the solution is? What are they frustrated about? What have they already tried before they met you? And all of the above. We got to really audit all of that and make sure that you can answer that. Make time for your big 5 all day this week, every day this week. Make time for your meditation and all the stuff you know you're supposed to be doing. I know it's not easy, but we're becoming that version of ourselves that is doing these things. Because again, if you were in the NBA finals, don't nobody care that you didn't have time to go to the gym. Don't nobody care that you didn't have time to eat the proper food that you wanted to eat, so you just got some Cheetos on the way to the game. We need you showing up at your best when you get on this court. So you have to make the adjustments in your life if you want these outcomes in your business. You just got to do it. So find what works for you. You guys have inspired me to make sure that some of the things that I've been teaching over and over and over again, that it's easier for you to access it and go back and review it. And it's just so much. Like, I need 17 of me, but that's why I can't make an excuse, because everybody has 17 of them now. It's called your GPT of choice. Get in there, figure it out. Take all of this knowledge and all these transcripts and thousands of hours of teaching and put it in there and make a skill and make the AI replicate myself. So that's what I'm doing every day. And I'm pushing myself to get that done. Go ahead, Trace.
So I did put out my clothes today, even though it's a Sunday. I did put out my clothes. I didn't need to put out lunch yet. I also figured out what could be that fast that could I could stop doing until I do what I need to do for that day. Mm-hmm. And being that you're the water queen and you're marrying the water king, it's water. Because I can go without eating. Sometimes I'm not going to say I forget to eat, because I do love eating, but there's certain times I just can't eat because I can't eat before I meditate. Definitely a lot of times before yoga. So there's a lot of situations I'm not supposed to eat anyways. But water is something I'm always like, okay, where's my damn water at? And I know I can create a system where I'm not drinking water until I get my elephant diet on or my 5. So just, figuring that out.
Let me just interject and let
please
me just
interject.
Say this.
I'm just coming up with it.
I know. We are electric beings, okay? And I know, unfortunately, we're raised in this Western system, and they don't really teach us who we are and what we are and all of that. But your water intake, that's how you move this energy through your body. This is how the electric charge goes where it needs to go. This is how our brain can do what it does, and all of our organs. And your organs are your energy centers. Like, it's all your electric being.
So water is not a good place.
So we need the water. We need that flow. Yes, we need that. So you gotta find something else. A lot of people think, but I understand what you're saying. Like, most people are like, oh, I gotta eat something, and they don't eat. I like that, but we need the water. That's how.
Well, I was gonna say that I guess I'm not saying I'm not gonna drink water. What I'm saying is I won't drink water until I get my elephant. When I say my elephant diet, I'm talking about it written. I'm talking about I think it's more like having this will only apply for my elephant diet because I want to have it written. If it's not,
is that something that you would do once a week, right?
It's something I'll do once a week, but I think there's also, because we're in a business of service, there's always updates, and I think even when my sometimes my elephant diet is just not updated for the stuff that was just added. And like I said, it's not going to be a whole day without water. It's just saying I'm not touching water until 1, I've looked at my calendar for the day, and 2, I've updated it with everything that somebody said, oh, my time changes here, or somebody just called me and booked an appointment. I'm thinking of it in that way.
I understand. Well, I'm not going to sit here and endorse that, but I understand. I understand the spirit in which you're doing it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, I just want to let it breathe today, y'all. We can do this. We're gonna come in, hit the ground running tomorrow, 2:00. Keep going through this arena framework, because if you set the stage, you will have an audience, global, if you want, audience of people, and they will all come there and feel seen, heard, understood, cared for, valued, and ready to take an action with you, just by becoming masterful at how you anchor those conversations, those human interactions. Like, seriously, like, you can walk in anywhere. You can walk into an organization that supposedly serves the people that you serve, like a school, or like an entrepreneurship program or something. And you come in there and you talk about what they're talking about. They're frustrated with. Yeah, we're trying to get the kids engaged. We got to pay them to even come to school. Like, they're just so detached. I totally understand. So you can, because you understand the problem, you can go all the way down the rabbit hole about the frustrations and what they're struggling with, what they've tried before, and what they believe, and da 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 da. And you're like, yes, I totally get that. So you could literally walk in off the street and be like, I would like to have a conversation about, are you guys dealing with this? Because I've noticed that a lot of people are dealing with da 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 da. You start talking like that, they're gonna be like, everything stops. Yes, we just had a staff meeting about this. We don't know what to do. Bah, 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 bah. Whole room, whole office stops. Recognition. You anchored the conversation. Well, I just want to talk to whoever. Oh, we can call her right now. She stops her day, brings you in the office. You got it. What were you saying? And you said, I mean, are you guys experiencing this? And then what is it? It's the Afro method. Then they just start talking. Yes, because blah, 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 blah. We don't know what to do about this. We tried this and this. I mean, we want to be a place where people can get, but, just all of that. So you take all that language. If they never buy anything from you ever again, you just got all your customer data. So that's what I mean by 50 conversations. I want you to go get all that data. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to lead to the next step, and then the next step in the conversation, which is just the Afro method. I could totally relate to that. So the rest of what you do after you've anchored the conversation is what we're going to do for the rest of this week. That's the arena framework. So make sure you have your stuff on your elephant diet. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful Sunday, and we'll be back tomorrow, y'all. Till then, I gotta go. I'm gone. We out. Pew!